It's not just a glove, it's a 44 Pro. Crafted with dedication, made for performance, and built to last. Get your custom glove today at 44pro.com and experience the 44 Pro difference. That's 44pro.com, 44 Pro.
Our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Engels90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
Looking for tickets to the hottest shows, games, and events? Ticket Liquidator is your one-stop shop for great prices, no hassles, and guaranteed tickets. Whether it's sports, theater, or concert, for the best seats at the biggest events, start with Ticket Liquidator today at ticketliquidator.com. Ticket Liquidator. Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. NordVPN.com. That's NORDVPN.com.
Hello, folks, and welcome into a Friday edition of The Cam Show, powered by Rogue Media Sports Network. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke is keeping us on the air. We are here 5 days a week, live on YouTube, and then wherever you get your podcasts, as well as your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio. Today, it's going to be a lot of Patriots. We're going to be taking a look, our final previews of the Patriots versus the Titans on Sunday. We've got Easton Freeze from A to Z Sports coming on, and he has an awesome breakdown of what has gone wrong with this Titans team so far, and maybe some things we're all getting wrong about Mike Vrabel based on what he has seen in Tennessee and why this might not be the smoothest rebuild for the Patriots and how it all plays out on Sunday. We will have our 3 keys to victory for the Patriots in this game in Tennessee, and we will talk about a frustrating Bruins loss last night. But first and foremost, we will have to get to the proposed draft day trade that the Patriots rejected in order to keep the future quarterback Drake Maye on the roster. That is all coming up on this episode of The Cam Show. We start where we start. It's in the thumbnail. It's why you clicked on the video today. And it is about Drake Maye. Some pretty big bombshell news from Burt Breer talking about what the Patriots turned down at the 2024 draft to keep the option to draft Drake Maye. Of course, there was some up in the air if they were even going to be able to draft him. Some people thought that Washington might go with Drake Maye, but by the time we got to the draft, it was pretty well set in stone. Caleb Williams, number 1, Jaden Daniels, number 2, and then possibly Drake Maye, number 3. And it seemed pretty simple, like it fell into their lap. The Patriots, of course, they would pick Drake Maye. What we found out is it wasn't that simple. Burt Breer dropping these bombshell news that not one, but 2 different draft day packages trade packages came into the Patriots on draft day in 2024. The Vikings and the Giants both offering multiple first-round picks to move up to get to number 3 overall. Here's how it broke down. The Giants offered the 6th overall pick in that year's draft, a 2025 first-round pick, and a third. So 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick. The Vikings offered something possibly even better. 3 first-round picks. The 11th pick in the draft that year, which of course ended up being J.J. McCarthy, the 23rd pick in that year's draft, and their 2025 first-round pick. 3 first-round picks in 2 years. And the Patriots said, no, we're good. We're drafting Drake Maye. I heard this and I was stunned. Obviously not terribly surprised that some teams wanted to move up because it was such a good quarterback class, and we kind of knew that from the beginning, but stunned at the Patriots' conviction to stick where they were and take the guy that they wanted to take. And I know a lot of people aren't going to give the Patriots enough credit for that, but they should get the credit for that. And when we see what Drake Maye has done so far in year 2, and how quickly things have turned around this season for the Patriots, it should just be more credit for this front office. Great move. Not a good move, a great move to turn down these trade proposals. And bold at that. It's easy to say now, well, of course, man, you needed your franchise quarterback. And look at what Drake Maye's done. Of course you turned down those moves. We got to put ourselves in the context of April 2024. Drake Maye was very high up the draft board. Like, no one was stunned to see him go number 3 overall. But that said, we all knew he was a project. And it wasn't exactly the best year ever in his final season at North Carolina. Drake Maye was not a slam dunk pick. It seemed like it because the Patriots just needed that position so bad. But it was not a slam dunk. This kid was going to come in and be a Pro Bowler and be your franchise quarterback. But you see how much the other teams liked him. Josh McCown, he actually was one of his offensive coaches in high school, which is bizarre to think now. Now is the OC quarterback coach for the Vikings. But he was an assistant at Myers Park High School in Charlotte, where Drake Maye was playing. And we know that Brian Daboll loved him. Remember that? I don't know if it's Hard Knocks or whatever the Giants were doing, but they had Drake Maye, going through the playbook with Daboll and going through the reads and progressions, and he just nailed it one after the other. And Daboll's like, ooh, he's impressed. So no surprise that they wanted to move up and get him. But the Patriots stood their ground. And again, that they made a move, a pick that was nothing guaranteed. Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels both felt like close to guarantees, like slam dunks. They would at least be good. Like Drake Maye was the number 3 pick. Everyone knew he wasn't going to start right away. And that's not typically what you see for a top 5 quarterback or a top 5 pick that's a quarterback in the NFL draft in the 2020s. And it's bold because not only that, but the Patriots had a lot of problems going into that 24 draft. They could have used 3 first-round picks, including 2 in that year's draft. Like, that's what makes this so bold, is those are not bad offers from the Giants and the Vikings. A lot of teams in the Patriots position probably take that offer. In fact, I'm intrigued to hear what the Titans got for the number 1 pick this year for Cam Ward. Because they had all kinds of problems. It wasn't a great quarterback draft. If they had a haul like this coming in, would they have done that? I'll bet they would have. Patriots had much, much bigger issues than just the quarterback. And they could have really used some draft capital because their 2022 draft at that point was already fledgling. And it's going to look like a great move because Drake has worked out so well. But if he didn't, it would be all-time catastrophic because the rest of the Patriots draft class sucked in 2024. So you could look at it both ways of, well, maybe they should have taken the trade because they needed to fill some more holes on that team. Or you could look and say, no, it was great, not only because Drake Maye's good, but because they were going to F it up anyway. They got nothing out of the rest of that draft. Nothing. One player that the Patriots drafted in that 2024 draft class is going to play on Sunday against the Titans. And it's number 10. Drake Maye is the only one. It was bold, and the Patriots are not going to get a lot of credit for it because Elliott Wolf seems pretty lame duck, right? and they have not drafted all that well. 2 of the last 3 drafts, or 2 of the last 4 drafts at this point, right? They've not covered themselves in glory, but they realize that the next year's quarterback class, which you do know at this point, in the 2020s, now a year ahead of time whether the quarterback draft class is going to be good. They knew that wasn't going to be good, and they said, we're taking our chance on Drake Maye. Because if they move back, like if they take the Vikings pick, they can pick J.J. McCarthy, which obviously is who went to the Vikings. And that's not the end of the world, right? It's not a bad pick at the time, I don't think. It's not great. Or if they take the Giants pick, they get Bo Nix, who had a better first year than Drake Maye did and led his team to the playoffs. It's a loaded class. I think Drake Maye's going to end up being better, like overall, than Bo Nix. But Bo Nix is a pretty good quarterback a year and a third of a way through his career. And he had played a lot of games. He was more of a sure thing than Drake Maye was. Higher floor than Drake Maye had. So credit to the Patriots for sticking with this, man. That was not easy. 3 first-round picks in 2 seasons offered by the Vikings. And 2 firsts and a third by the Giants, including one of them not having to move back all that much from 3 to 6. Even at the time, I don't know, as a fan, I would have been like, are you sure? You might want to think about this. Might want to think about this a little bit. Maybe give a second thought to it. But no, credit to Elliott Wolf and his staff. I got to give him credit when and where it is due. They said, Drake Maye is our guy. We're turning down 3 first-round picks to keep him. The rest of the draft be damned, clearly, right? So at the time, would I have taken this as an offer? Yeah, I would have felt pretty good about this. In fact, looking at the comment section here, skywalking. What would you have listened to for offers at the time of the draft? I probably, if I'm the GM, I'm probably taking the Vikings one, knowing that there's 4 or 5 quarterbacks that could go in this first round. I think it was 5 in the first 12 picks, which is insane. Maybe 6 picks, because Penix was in there too. And with all the needs the Patriots had, offensive line, weapons, like so many needs, I probably would have taken those 3 picks from the Vikings and said, let's rebuild our team right now, rather than just through one position. They played something of a long game, and so far it is working out. And you got to say, so far, 6 games into the 2025 season, they nailed the Will Campbell pick as well, which I was very skeptical about. I think a lot of us were. I was not excited about the Will Campbell pick. So far, so very good for Will Campbell, albeit against a easy schedule. But this is the National Football League, and he is showing up, and he is looking excellent through 6 weeks. So based on that, 3 first-round picks from the Vikings, 2 firsts and a third from the Giants, would you have taken those trades for Drake Maye? And are you giving the Patriots credit for turning down those deals? Let me know in the comment section below. Then be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, because we come at you live on YouTube every weekday, noon Eastern time, and then wherever you get your podcasts, as well as your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio here on The Cam Show. Pretty much the rest of this show is going to be Patriots, and it's going to be previewing this weekend against the Titans, and we're going to have a great interview with Easton Freeze of A to Z Sports in a couple of minutes. He covers the Titans inside and out. You're not going to want to miss this. But first, I gotta let off some frustrations about the Bruins, because I did a Bruins kind of rant yesterday about them versus the Golden Knights and how the Golden Knights out there in Vegas are just the antithesis of the Bruins, and I think it's exactly why they win, why they're one of the best teams in the league. We got a wild one in Vegas last night. 6-5, the Golden Knights beat the Bruins. I don't think there's going to be a lot of 6-5 Bruins games this year, but I also would have said that about 5-4, which is what their last game was before that. We learned 2 big things about the Bruins last night that shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody. First thing, they cannot outscore their problems. You cannot do that. Like you can do it and get lucky against Chicago. They beat Chicago 4-3 in overtime last week. But it'll get you beat against halfway decent teams. Chicago is one of the worst teams in the league again. And they're taking a step up to being just one of the worst teams in the league. Tampa and Vegas, you are not going to be that lucky. You just are not going to be that lucky. And the other thing we learned is despite the 3-1 start to the season, now 3-2-0, there are still lapses and there are still a huge lack of skill and awareness all over the ice for the Bruins. And this team is going to be frustrating. And it's not on the goaltender so far, like it was for a good bit of last year. But I'll tell you what frustrates the ever-living shit out of me watching this Bruins team. It's the second period. It's a tight game. I'll say it's 4-2 at that point. I think they just cut it to 4-3. And then they send the Golden Knights on a power play. And 30 seconds into that power play, Pavel Zacha takes a double minor high stick. So now you got to kill off a minute and a half of 5-on-3 and then an additional 2.5 minutes of a 5-on-4. Brutal, man, against one of the best, most skilled teams in the league. That should sink you. But guess what? It didn't. And the Bruins get this gutsy kill. And on the broadcast, Brickley's talking like this has to turn into momentum. It has to. Like you just laid it all out there on the line. Gutsy 4-minute penalty kill against one of the best teams in hockey. You've got to use that as momentum in this 1-goal game. And what do the Bruins do? They use it as momentum because they get a power play late in the second period, and then they do what they love doing, and that is fucking it up. William Karlsson comes down the sideboard, shorthanded. Tanner Jeannot it's not like he's making a great defensive play here, but he does do enough to kind of shove Karlsson to the outside. And then Karlsson cuts in, and Henry Jokiharju, who I have said on this program several times, is completely useless. And I cannot believe they signed him to a 3-year extension when there was no market for him at all, is just standing there in the middle of the slot, checking nobody. And so Jeannot has more or less done his job to get Karlsson to the outside. Then a defenseman's supposed to take him in the crease. And instead, Karlsson just goes around him, and there's an absolute runway for him to go through right to the net. And he scores shorthanded. It's 5-3. It becomes 6-3 early in the third. And really the game is over. The Bruins make a nice push, right? They make it 6-5. But that right there, like you have lost the game for yourself right there, Henry Jokiharju. There's still a huge lack of talent. And it's interesting to say that after this game because the bottom 6 is what did it, man. The bottom 6 is what kept them in this game. 4 of the 5 goals came from bottom 6 forwards and Nikita Zadorov, who never scores and is a third pairing defenseman. But it also shows the guy who was, I think, the worst player on the ice last night outside of Henry Jokiharju was Morgan Geekie. And he did have a nice assist on the Pasternak goal, but it came after he was set up for a one-timer, wrister with a completely open goal and just totally whiffed on it. He comes on as the extra attacker when they're down 6-5 with the goalie pulled, and he makes a terrible play that sees the puck leave the zone right as he's coming on the ice, and he misses a golden opportunity wide, and he is what he was before last season. And I really hope to be wrong about this because I liked Morgan Geekie last year a lot, and I hope he can be something more than what he was before last year. But that looks like a bad contract. That looks like a bad 6-year contract for a guy who was second in the league in shooting percentage last year. Morgan Geekie, after being cut by Seattle. Like, talk about a lucky year, man. It was great. Scored 33 goals. But on a 22% shooting percentage, man, how sustainable is that? It looks like another bad contract for the Bruins, and it's another bad loss for the Bruins. And it doesn't get any easier. They got to go to Denver this weekend and face the high-flying Colorado Avalanche, and then the upstart Utah Mammoth on Sunday night on the second night of a back-to-back, 500 miles away. So not the funnest start to the stretch, to the whole road trip for the Bruins, and it's not going to get any easier. But what has been easy this month is the schedule for the New England Patriots. They've got Tennessee coming up this weekend. Mike Vrabel's return to Nashville. We're going to talk with Easton Freeze of A to Z Sports. This is an awesome interview breaking down what's gone wrong for the Titans so far, why Patriots fans maybe shouldn't get ahead of themselves when it comes to Mike Vrabel and what he is building here. And then we'll take a look at the number 1 pick of the draft, Cam Ward, and how the Patriots can silence him this weekend. That's coming up next after this very short break on the Cam Show.
Dive into adventure with scuba.com, your ultimate destination for top-tier scuba and snorkeling gear. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, trust scuba.com for the best in diving equipment and expert guidance. Explore now at scuba.com. That's SCUBA.com. Scuba.com.
It's the Restore Clarity Focus Patch, my little secret weapon for staying sharp, focused, and on task. Each box comes with simple instructions inside, so you always know exactly how to apply it. Each patch lasts for 3 days. I love that I can wear it all day.
This is what $500,000 in a duffel bag looks like. Actually not real. That's because it's actually prop money. It looks realistic from a distance, but up close you can see it says for motion picture purposes. Visit propmoney.com today to get your money seen or money shot right with Prop Money Inc.
Golf Partner, the world's largest golf store network, offers more purchasing opportunities than anywhere else. With a dominant market share and a wider selection of quality secondhand golf clubs than our competitors, we make it easy for you to enjoy the game with affordable, top-quality equipment. Golf Partner.
It doesn't matter if your investment budget is small or big. All you need is Benzinga Pro and its powerful news alerts, price tracking, and portfolio monitoring. Subscribe now, and we'll skyrocket your portfolio today.
Experience with the Bosley MD hair regrowth kit was amazing. It was easy to use. It let me take off my hat. I could go in public and have my picture taken and feel normal again.
BosleyMD.com.
Back here on the Cam Show, Rogue Media Sports Network, getting you ready for Patriots Titans this Sunday. Mike Vrabel's return to Tennessee, not facing his successor, and a matchup of two top 3 overall picks at quarterback the last 2 years. Cam Ward, number 1 overall in what should have been the Patriots pick, but clearly I'm over that. Clearly I'm very much over that. Will Campbell's having a hell of a season. And of course, Drake Maye, number 3 overall the year before. Here to help us break this down, Easton Freeze, covering the Titans every day for A to Z Sports down there in Nashville. Easton, pretty interesting week at the facility, huh?
Little interesting. And yeah, shout out Bazooka Joe Milton for helping out the Titans with the Cam Ward acquisition. We'll never forget the hard work that he did and the hard work that who else helped? Oh, Drew Lock, a giant legend. The things that they had to do to get the Titans the first pick. But that was the last truly positive thing that happened for the Titans, I think. So, it's been a wild one here in Nashville.
Yeah, Kayshon Boutte in that game was the first Patriots receiver with a 100-yard game in like 5 years.
Right.
Week 17, week 18.
The records are incredible. That's crazy.
Like
unbelievable. That's pedestrian compared to the fact that Drew Lock, by an EPA standard, you look at the highest EPA efficiency games in the last 25 years for quarterbacks, and the top 5 list is like Peyton Manning twice, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, and 2025 Drew Lock.
Man, that is going to be brought up in 6 years when Cam Ward's winning the Super Bowl MVP.
Butterfly effect,
that will
man.
be brought up. Yeah. Just like we have a Chad Ryland missed 30-yard field goal to lose to the Giants the end of regulation at the end of 23, which got the Patriots the pick to get Drake Maye. So
Wild.
We both have it. We get it. And that's because we've watched some bad football over the last few years.
That's right.
That's why we get it. We do see this in college sometimes, like the dead cat bounce where, your coach gets fired and it kind of wakes the team up. I don't know how much it happens exactly in the NFL. Do you give that any chance this week?
I mean, it definitely does happen in the NFL. It is a lot more powerful when the team hated the coach or they just lost his messaging. They no longer bought into what he was saying. So I think back to like Brandon Staley with the Chargers. They get 70 dropped on their forehead in prime time because they clearly hate their coach and have given up. And then they come back and look a whole lot better once he's gone. That's not the case with Brian Callahan. He hadn't lost the locker room, which might be the single most impressive thing about his 23-game tenure is that despite how bleak it got, and it got really bleak for a lot of different reasons, they never lost faith in him. They never hated him. He's one of the more likable guys you'll meet in the NFL. And so that part of it is not something that I really am considering for the dead cat bounce, but you still see it in the sense that when the head of the snake gets cut off, everybody realizes kind of a sobering wake up call, like everybody's job is on the line here. And so I do think that for whatever reason, you just see that magical little blip for teams. Now, I don't think that that's going to be enough for the Titans to like come out and shock anybody this weekend, but it will help them some, I think. I just don't know how much.
Brian Callahan, not there. Cam Ward, very much still there. Very much still there. We talked about the circumstances on how he got there. Obviously, number one pick in the draft, and what could be categorized as a down quarterback year, especially when you look at the first round of the year before. What have you seen so far from Cam Ward this season?
A big part of the reason why Callahan was fired when he was because, and they can't say this, but it's the reality, and everyone in the building knows it. They have a rookie quarterback who through 6 weeks looks like he's taking steps backwards. Looks like he's regressing a little bit. Now, I don't think any serious person is really panicking over what he's looked like, because if you consider the situation he's in, the team that he's on, it's not surprising that any rookie quarterback would be really struggling, right? And maybe be developing some bad habits, and you consider who he has to throw to and the level of protection that he's had and all of these things. It's been a really, really tough situation for him. That being said, he's not looked good, and he's looked a little bit worse each week. I thought he looked really, really promising in his debut in Denver, and each week since then, I felt a little bit worse about it. It's not like he's fallen off some cliff, but we've gotten to the point now where his footwork is going in the wrong direction. He's developing some bad habits. I don't think he's seeing the field as well. I don't think he's trusting his receivers as much. I don't think he's trusting his pocket management, which was a strength coming out. Just his feel for the pocket. I think that he's a little bit squirrely back there. And I think it's largely a product of his environment. He's not somebody whose mentality I'm worried about at all. That's one of his superpowers, is that he is just, his mind is an iron trap. He is, no matter how bad he is playing, somebody that, I mean, you saw it in college a lot. He would dig his team a hole kind of single-handedly, and then he would drag them back out of the hole almost single-handedly. He is somebody that gets back off the canvas with ease. And so maybe long-term, if they continue to bludgeon him, I start to worry about that. But through 6 weeks, I'm not worried about him coming back each week and having the right mindset and being the leader that the team needs him to be. I want to see the situation around him improve so that I can get a more fair, controlled evaluation of what he looks like.
No worries about him saying we ass when the team is kind of ass.
Worries, no. I mean, he probably shouldn't have said it the way that he said it. But nobody in the world heard that and thought that he was wrong, or that he was. I mean, I guess you could say it's technically speaking out of turn because you're a rookie who hasn't done anything in the NFL yet, and you're speaking for your team, but that's the kind of comment that you could make behind closed doors, and everybody would be like, yeah, of course. Absolutely. Yeah. Maybe just a lesson in the weight that your words carry when you're a starting quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah. And this is a guy who's faced some adversity, right, in his college career. This was a 0-star recruit out of high school, starting at Incarnate Word down there in San Antonio. So, not that this is a great situation, but he's been in some tough situations before, some uphill situations before. And you talk about that iron trap in his mind. And you wrote about this week, Max Crosby, who had himself a game against the Titans the other day. And certainly that defensive front for the Raiders had themselves a game, sacking Cam Ward 6 times. But he actually Max Crosby had some nice things to say about Cam Ward and actually compared him to a pretty notable quarterback in this league. Does that give you more hope for his future?
Sure, why not? The Patrick Mahomes comparisons flew around for Cam Ward during the draft cycle, as irresponsible as they may have been. The general vibe of the player, the way that they approach pocket management and the way that they approach what areas of the field they target, especially young Patrick Mahomes, there is similarities there. Now, results may vary, success rate may vary. That's the difference. But the general style, the general approach, it's not hard to see that. I think that when you listen to Cam's teammates, his coaches, his opponents, they all, on and off the record, speak really highly of the guy. And so that's why I don't think there's any reason to panic through 6 weeks. He just needs to he needs to work on the things that he can control, his footwork, the areas of the field that he chooses to target, choosing his picking and choosing his battles, when to try to push the ball downfield versus when to try to stay on schedule and take what's underneath. Those things that are pretty standard for rookies to have to work through. Focus on that, and the team should focus on getting better around him and making his life easier.
For whatever this is worth, Easton, this sounds exactly like what we were saying about Drake Maye last year.
Yeah, right? So it's a lot of standard operating procedure stuff for a rookie quarterback that's on a bad team. It's how it goes.
Yep. And speaking of that, we have both seen some bad football over the last couple of seasons. We certainly saw it on display when these two teams faced off last year. That was a lot of fun.
Disgusting game.
But I mean, just great stuff, especially that last play in regulation. Like, it was just the Benny Hill music, man.
It
like,
still
it was
haunts the Titans, man.
It was so
Arden
good.
Key whiffing twice. Just Drake Maye effortlessly hitting him with the Olay in the pocket is crazy work.
It was perfect, though, because it resulted in a Titans victory and still got the number 1 pick. It's just all going to come back to that. But having seen the bad football over the last few seasons, I understand that what I'm about to ask is a very loaded question. But what in your mind is the number one thing that has gone wrong in Nashville to lead to this 1-5? I should have asked for Mount Rushmore of things.
The 2020, 2021, and 2022 draft classes being lit on fire, and there not being a single usable asset from those draft classes.
Mike Vrabel
was certainly a big part of it. Now, John Robinson was the GM, and he's the one that gets the ultimate blame. But like, a big part of the reason why Mike Vrabel was fired at all in Tennessee is I maintain, and I don't think this is a super unpopular opinion in town, that Coach Mike Vrabel maybe shouldn't have been fired, but GM Mike Vrabel maybe didn't leave them much of a choice. And Mike Vrabel's the kind of personality, the kind of person that there is a power element that you have to consider within the structure of your organization. I also think that he brings a style of coaching that isn't super popular in the league anymore, that is pretty high floor and allows for effective results pretty early on in their tenure. But I've heard more than one person. I don't know if I necessarily agree with this. I think maybe we'll see in New England, because it happening once is an instance, twice maybe a coincidence, but you could maybe say that's a pattern. I wonder if his style of coaching runs its course, maybe burns kind of hot and bright. And he was here in Tennessee. Once he got to the year 5, year 6 mark, it started to wear on people. And I think his style of coaching is really effective when things are good, but it can be corrosive when things are bad. Maybe that's the best way to put it. And so if and when the Patriots have a down year or a down period in the Mike Vrabel era, I'll be very curious to see how he's received and how all of that works, because that was really what led to his downfall here, not just the fact that they were losing games.
Yeah, and what is that specifically? Because, he is going to have a lot of power with this team. We've kind of already seen it, and we've heard some things about, playing the veterans versus the young guys and not really giving them much of a shot. But what were those tendencies that you saw that could wear on a team that Mike Vrabel brings?
Well, again, it's two worlds. It's him as a manager and an executive, and whatever official or unofficial. He does a good job of kind of blurring those lines. Everybody knows Mike has a lot of power. You just never quite know technically what the power is. When it comes to just straight coaching stuff, I think that he is, and this is not a knock on him. I think it's a blessing and a curse. He is a personality that sucks up all of the oxygen in every room that he's in. He is menacing is the wrong word, but he's kind of a larger than life guy that it takes the right kind of person to be Mike Vrabel's equal. And for the most part, even if you're the franchise quarterback, or you're the star defender, or you're his chief lieutenant on the staff, or whatever, coordinator, or whatever it may be, generally speaking, the power dynamic, I think, is superior and lieutenant, right? And so the way that he runs his ship, and the way that he's old school with the way that he approaches practice, and the way that he does lean on veteran experience and really slow plays, bringing in newer players, and the way that he can be stubborn in how he wants to play every game, kind of in a phone booth. And he's not ever going to be the kind of he's not ever going to be the kind of coach that is constantly blowing out teams. That's just not the way that he rolls. He wants to get in the mud with every team he plays, and he wins a lot of games that way, right? But that's really the recipe for how the story of Mike Vrabel as a head coach in the NFL has been summarized as winning games you have no business winning and losing games that you have no business losing. And so that kind of brings us to the Titans game, right? When people ask me like, what's the Titans' hope in this game? If we're doing a chart of Patriot advantages and Titan advantages in this game, I think on the Patriots column, it's pretty much all of the football things. And then on the Titans column, it is 2 bullet points. It is dead cat bounce, ? For the head coach. Maybe, who knows? Could help. And number 2, it's every Titans fan has seen Mike Vrabel play down to opponents and lose to teams he shouldn't lose to many, many, many times in their lives. So this could be one of those spots. Those are the only 2 things that I can figure are in the Titans' favor in this game.
My next question was going to be what on the field could give the Titans an advantage, but I think that about covers it there. That we have seen that the Vrabel Super Bowls are the ones where no one's giving you a shot, and that was certainly what we saw 2 weeks ago, Sunday Night Football in Buffalo against the Bills, and the Patriots pull it out. And that worries me, Easton, because we got a schedule here that would lead to the other, right? New Orleans last week, Tennessee this week, Cleveland coming up. So that's no bueno to hear.
He's totally going to slip against one of these teams. I'm telling you, man. It's what he does.
I don't love that. I don't love that. Then it's Tampa. Which could be a Mike Vrabel win right there.
That's
that could be perfect.
He'll lose
with the
to
way
Tennessee
Baker's
or Cleveland, and the vibes will be bad again, and then he'll somehow throttle the Bucks. This is I have seen this story 10 trillion times.
This is why we bring you on. We need this. Sometimes we need to hear this. With the Patriots sitting at...
It makes it fun, though. It makes for great content, by the way. Mike Vrabel never static as an NFL coach. There's always something changing.
I love that. I do love that. And for a team that's now suddenly atop the AFC East, maybe we could use a little bit of that humble pie. It's only taken 5 years to get back here. But anyway, let's talk about Drake Maye a little bit, coming from the other side and the football side of things. He's coming in on a bit of a heater right now. Like he's legit in MVP discussion, albeit just over a third of the way through the season. But this Titans defense has been playing better as of late. And I don't think a lot of people have noticed that because of the record and what Cam Ward's doing in this anemic offense. Do you think that unit can keep them in the game and maybe shock some people this week?
If there's going to be anything that keeps them in the game, it would be that. Listen, Drake Maye Hive is up. We're up right now, and I was a big Drake Maye fan coming out. I was somebody in the draft process that thought it was clearly Caleb and Drake in that upper echelon, and then I underestimated Jaden Daniels. I thought that he was the third guy off of my board, but I thought there was a clear divide between the top 2 and him. I don't think that's the case anymore, but I do think in year 1, people very foolishly discounted what Drake Maye was doing. I thought that I saw a lot from him in that rookie year that was promising, and I think you're starting to see that pay off early this year. He looks awesome, man, and Patriots fans should be as excited as they are for what he looks like. We saw last year against the Titans, I think he ran the ball 10 times for 95 yards, something in that ballpark. He just thrashed them in the run game. I think that he's liable to do it again because the Titans are going to be down. I say gonna. We're going to find out later today. We're recording this Friday morning. Whether or not we know they're down one of their main 3 rotational edge players. The other 2 haven't practiced yet this week. So I would wager the over-under is 2.5 of their starting edges that they don't have available, and it might be all 3 of them. So it's going to be a practice squad edge group out there. Oof. Their assignment is probably going to be just don't even worry about rushing him. Just contain. Like it's too much to ask these guys to try to get after him. Let Jeffrey Simmons handle trying to push the pocket in the middle. Maybe he'll deliver Drake Maye right into your lap if you just stand by the sides of the pocket. That's probably going to be their plan of attack, rushing the passer. Now, Jeffrey Simmons is, for my money, talk about a thing that's been buried on a terrible Titans team. I think he's the best defensive tackle in the league right now. Yeah. I think he's easily the most disruptive pass rusher on the interior in the entire league right now. It's honestly unbelievable, the level of play he's putting out there with no help. So Mike Vrabel's keenly aware of what Jeff Simmons can do, and I won't pretend to know the intricacies of the interior of the New England offensive line. I know that it's been I was going to say a little below average, but maybe I'm overselling it. Concerning, let's say. Let's say concerning. So if the Titans get after Drake in the pass rush, it will be because Jeffrey Simmons takes advantage of that, and Tavondre Sweat, a player that was really promising in his rookie year, is tracking, again, we'll find out later today, to be back in this game. I expect him to be back in this game. So those two are who you should worry about, not the edge group at all. And then I'm not sure they can contain him in the run game. Last year, this team was worse on defense against opposing quarterbacks running the ball. And by worse, I mean really, really bad, like bottom of the league. This year, they haven't played a whole lot of mobile quarterbacks. They played Kyler, and Kyler didn't kill them in that way. Yep. So he also didn't really try a whole lot, though. So if Drake Maye tries it, I really still do think he'll find some success. I just don't know if it will be 100 yards like last year, but would I put it past him with the way that this Titans defense has shown in the last calendar year to be able to fall apart in that way? No, I wouldn't. I'm more worried in this game about Drake May's arm than his legs, and that's the lead that I've kind of buried here. Patriots fans know that last week there were quite a few yards of his that were taken off the board questionably. There were plenty of yards that were left on the board that were really impressive. He is throwing the ball at a really high level, and the Titans secondary is fine. It's looked better in recent weeks, but if the Patriots have their full arsenal of weapons ready to go and Drake Maye throws the ball the way that he did in the Saints game, I think that they'll find success passing, especially with the pass rush not forcing him to make the quickest decisions in the world. So I think the defense is going to play some bend, don't break. I think there will be a lot of yards available to him between the 20s, and they'll just hope to keep him out of the end zone. And none of that will matter if the Titans offense can't do anything.
Sounds like exactly what the Patriots did to Spencer Rattler last week. And when you can contain Spencer Rattler and keep him out of the end zone, man, you have done something truly special.
Hey, Spencer Rattler, just something to Spencer Rattler, all right?
You're buying Spencer Rattler.
I'm holding.
Okay.
I think it's a hold market on Spencer.
It is an honorable thing that he's doing. It is worth the honor, I would say.
There's something there.
Yeah, and we'll see in a couple of weeks if and when he doesn't have Alvin Kamara and Chris Olave on the roster, which I would feel bad for him. That would just be damn unfortunate.
I don't know if you have any more questions, but I want to get your thoughts on one thing on the other side of the ball.
I don't, by the way. Yeah.
Okay, well then we'll end on this. The people ask me like, what could the Titans offense do in terms of because all of the questions in Titans land this week are okay. The offensive head coach is gone. It's still pretty much the same structure remaining. The offensive coordinator, the play caller, all of these things, and it's the same players. But you've got a new Mike McCoy is also he was a senior offensive advisor before he became the interim head coach this week. He's going to have his fingerprints, whatever his personal flavors are on this offense. And we've been digging on what to get to the bottom of what that's going to look like. I think that it's going to be marginally, I think it's going to be slightly more tempo, slightly more no huddle, slightly less complicated looks, kind of running the same thing, more bread and butter concepts, the stuff that Cam Ward's really comfortable with to try to establish a rhythm for him. The thing that I think, if you told me the offense was able to move the ball, from what I've seen of the Patriots offense, watching them and then looking at their advanced metrics, and you correct me if I'm wrong on this, it seems like they're a good unit that allows maybe a little bit more yards after catch opportunity than you'd be comfortable with. Yeah. It seems like when you take what they give you underneath, if you have guys that you like with the ball in their hand in space, that the Patriots defense allows players to take advantage of that. And so that's where I say if Cam Ward can fight his inner demons to want to push the ball downfield and, test Christian Gonzalez in single coverage or whatever it is, if he can dump the ball off to his running backs and his tight ends, get the ball into Chikakonkwo and Tajay Spears' hands underneath and let them go to work against the linebackers, I think that they could find some success. But maybe you disagree.
No, I think that's actually exactly right. That's what Spencer Rattler did last week. He got the ball out fairly quickly, got the ball out of the hand fairly quickly, and it was just a ton of underneath stuff. And you look at both these quarterbacks, Rattler and Cam Ward, they're both in the bottom 5 in terms of yards per attempt. And so it kind of does play to Cam Ward's strengths a little bit. Let's draw a lot of shallow crossing patterns. You can get yak on this team. But you said it, like it's the defending down the field is typically going to be astute, right? Like Christian Gonzalez is one of the best corners in the league, whether he gets the credit for it yet or not. I mean, he wasn't all pro last year. Carlton Davis, before he gets hurt at some point this season, which is inevitable, he has been very good himself. Marcus Jones has taken a big step up, and he can guard big guys for being such a small, short corner. But it's been that underneath stuff. Their linebackers are just not terrific in coverage, and so there's some exploiting there. I know Okonkwo had a good game last week. There could be some exposing there. So, I mean, Cam Ward taking shots 20, 25 yards down the field. Maybe if you can get Kyle Duggar in coverage, it's there, like we saw in the first play of the game last week. But other than that, man, it's going to be some underneath stuff. It's going to be a lot of yak. So clearly, Easton Freeze of A to Z Sports, he knows the Titans, but he knows the opponents just as well. And so we're getting ready for this game on Sunday. Easton, let the folks know how they can find your work and get some more of this golden stuff.
2 places, A to Z Sports on YouTube and A to Z Sports.com. Anything and everything Titans. If you're more a draft guy, I do a ton of national draft stuff during the draft season, so I've got you covered. And I appreciate that you guys are interested in learning about such a terrible football team. So thank you for reading and watching me. Please don't abandon me. Abandon the Titans, not the coverage.
That's a good way to put it. And the Patriots are still in a position where they're a little bit better, but we will be locked into the NFL draft as well. So certainly Easton will have that covered. Easton, really appreciate you taking the time and joining the show today.
Thanks for having me, man.
There he goes. Easton Freeze, A to Z Sports. Man, has he got this covered. And we will continue the coverage of Patriots Titans. We have got our 3 big keys to the game coming up next on The Cam Show.
whypersonalloans.com. Request a loan anytime. Our partners can offer loans up to $35,000 with varying rates and terms. Review your loan offer with no obligation and decide what works for you. Visit personalloans.com today.
Unlock a world of convenience with Mully Box, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. Each box is tailored to your taste. Mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Dot Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone. I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
Your season, your shot. The NFL season is rolling, and every touchdown can bring you closer to a payout with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. From first touchdown scorer to anytime TD props, or the thrill of live in-game betting, every snap is loaded with opportunity. New customers, this one is for you. Bet just $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, score over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code CAMSHOW. That's code CAMSHOW to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you place your first $5 bet. Plus, over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 8778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Fees may apply in Illinois. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. NFL Sunday Ticket offer for new subscribers only and auto renews until canceled. Digital games and commercial use excluded. Restrictions apply. Additional NFL Sunday Ticket terms at youtube.com/go/NFL Sunday Ticket/terms. Limited time offer.
I am obsessed with helping business owners increase their traffic and turn it into profit through the power of Pinterest marketing. It's this amazing platform where people are looking for ideas, inspiration. They have a problem and they're actively looking for a solution.
Bubble wasn't here. I don't know what people would be doing, like making PowerPoints or something. I love that I can sit down and build something the way that I think it should be built.
Bubble turns ideas into fully scalable apps. Try Bubble today. At Mapiful, we believe in celebrating your journey. Our unique personalized products are designed to boost your confidence. From custom home decor to meaningful gifts, we help you cherish the memories that make you who you are. Visit mapiful.com and start celebrating your story today.
Welcome back. And man, how about that? How about Easton Freeze, man? Has he got this thing covered or what? We're definitely bringing him back, especially when it comes to NFL draft time, because I didn't even know this, but I had been following his coverage before without even knowing it, man. Easton is great at this. But as promised, we've got to talk about the keys to the game here, Patriots and Titans. We have previewed it all week. We have heard from both sides of the aisle. Now it is time to see what exactly the Patriots need to do to make this 4 wins in a row and stay atop the AFC East by beating the Tennessee Titans this weekend. Now, it shouldn't be that tough, right? They're 1-5. They just fired their coach. They're one of the worst teams in the league. But as we have heard from those who've covered him before, all week long we've heard this, Mike Vrabel can coach down to his competition, and that we just haven't really seen that yet. Or maybe we did against Pittsburgh, because the Patriots are a better team than Pittsburgh. They're a better team than Vegas as well, but that's 2 of their losses right there. Those are the 2 losses. So let's see the 3 keys to the game for the Patriots, avoiding the upset and getting out of Tennessee with a W. Key number 1, balance out the offense, man. Tennessee's run defense stinks. 26th in the league in yards per game. And of course, the Patriots, they have just not run the football effectively at all this year. That is something that has been such a down spot on what's been such a bright Patriots team, especially this offense, is that it's still not balanced. They still don't run the ball. They're 27th in rush yards this year in the league. The Titans are going to be playing 2 high safeties a lot of the game. They saw what happened last week against New Orleans. They don't want to see Drake Maye beating them deep. And look, if they don't, then Drake Maye is going to pick that apart all day long. But my guess is they're going to play a lot of 2 high safety, and that's where the Patriots can just run the ball down their freaking throat. If they are balanced, Drake Maye will not need to break a sweat in this game. He can eat this team alive all day. They're not going to get a ton of pressure on the quarterback. They've got a couple of practice squads guys as their edge rushers in this game. They're not going to be able to get to the quarterback. So run the ball. That's going to open up your deep shots. Those will be there. I do not want Drake Maye to be the leading rusher in this game like he was last year against the Titans when he carried it for 95 yards on the ground. I don't want that again. There's no reason for Drake Maye to be tackled that much in this game when they're playing such a bad team with such a bad run defense. So let's balance this thing out. Let's get some more touches for Travion Henderson. We'll see with the way Mike Vrabel handles him. But let's get a big Ramondre Stevenson game for once, fellas. For once. And let's balance out the offense. Number 2, can the Patriots actually get to the quarterback this week? At times, it has looked pretty good, this pass rush. And obviously, the front 7 of the Patriots has been good all season long. But that said, they have just 4 sacks in this 3-game winning streak. Spencer Rattler was getting the ball out somewhat quickly, man. He didn't have to deal with pressure the whole game. And that's something that is a little concerning for this Patriots team. Keon White, man, no idea what happened to that dude. No idea what happened to him, man. First half of last season, when all the attention was on him, he was terrific. And he says he loves having Mike Vrabel here, loves having a real coach in the building. And yet Keon White is doing nothing this season. Nothing. Cam Ward is doing something, and that is going down a lot. Okay? He has been sacked multiple times in every game this year. Every game he's been sacked more than once. And there's been 2 games, including last week against the Raiders, where he was sacked 6 times. He's done that twice. And if you ask Sean Payton, sacks are a quarterback stat. And that is something that he is close to the league lead in Cam Ward. He's not close to the league lead in many other things. 6 times he was sacked last week. If the Patriots don't get 3 or 4 at least in this game, then there's some real concern about the pass rush going forward. Do not make life easy on Cam Ward. He's not good. He's not a good quarterback yet. Right now, you have got him down, and it's time to take him out and not let him beat you in this game. Which leads me to key number 3 for a Patriots victory in Tennessee, and that is make Cam Ward go down the field. If you make him look more than 8 yards down the field, there's just no way you don't win the game. Okay? Ward is 33rd in the league in yards per attempt. Let me repeat that. Cam Ward is 33rd in the league in yards per attempt. And I know the bells are starting to ring for some of you. Yes, there are only 32 teams in this league. There are only 32 starting quarterbacks. Cam Ward and his yards per attempt is 33rd. And you're like, okay, well, some backup came in and threw it, 5 times for 10 yards each. I don't even know if that's true, but he's also 33rd in quarterback rating. Once again, only 32 quarterbacks in this league. He has had a passer rating of 80 or more twice in 6 games this season. Drake Maye has had a passer rating under 100 one time this season. Cam Ward is not a good quarterback yet. He is not a good quarterback in this league yet. And it's because he can't look down the field. He doesn't have a good offensive line. He's fighting for his life. His guys don't get separation. And I know, as Patriots fans who have watched this team the last couple of years, that sounds familiar. The reason why the Saints had success in this game last week is because they were doing the underneath stuff. They were going over the middle. It was getting the ball out quickly, shallow crosses. Patriots linebackers aren't great in coverage. And if you go down the field on a guy like Christian Gonzalez, it's not going to work for the offense. But the dink and dunk stuff was working. And that was evidenced in the fact that, Spencer Rattler had like 25 completions for 200 yards. And the fact that they only got in the end zone one time for a team that was moving the ball a lot. When you go against a bend, don't break defense, you're going to get yards against them with the dink and dunk stuff, but you're not going to get points. And the Patriots have shown a lot of bend, but don't break this year. And that is just fine. Honestly, some of the great Patriots defenses of the last 15 years, ones that won Super Bowls, were not like the original dynasty, Bill Belichick, Teddy Bruschi, Willie McGinnis, Ty Law defenses. They were bend but don't break. In 2016, they led the league in points per game as a defense, and it was totally bend but don't break. Do that again. Just take away the shallow stuff, and Tennessee cannot move the ball. They will not be able to move the ball against you. So if the Patriots do all 3 of those things, they will walk out of Nashville comfortably with a W, which they should be pretty damn comfortable walking out of Tennessee with a W. I don't want to see some of the old Mike Vrabel trends of playing down your competition that I've heard about all week. This should be a comfortable Patriots win. I would say 31-10 to New England. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. Give me your score predictions and your keys to the game on how the Patriots make this 4 wins in a row and stay atop the AFC East. Let me know in that comment section below. Then be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. It's completely free, and it helps you get some of the best Boston sports news in the business. We are your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio, live on YouTube, noon Eastern time, and then available wherever you get your podcasts as well. Just Boston sports without any of the bullshit. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke keeps us on the air 5 days a week. We will, of course, have a full breakdown of whatever happens in this game in Nashville on Sunday. We will have that on Monday's show. Again, that's live on YouTube, noon Eastern time. We will see you then on what will be called the Wicked Boston Show on Monday. Total rebrand coming, but the same great content. We will see you then on the Rogue Media Network.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious.
At Open Goal USA, we're revolutionizing training for both soccer and lacrosse with our innovative portable rebounders. Perfect for players of all ages and skill levels. Visit opengoaalusa.com and elevate your training today.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farm, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com.
Get paid faster with Bill, the easiest way to send, receive, and manage your payments. No more delays, no more hassle. Whether you're a freelancer or a business, Bill makes payments seamless and secure, simple, fast, and reliable. Sign up today at Bill.com. We are Rogue Media Sports.